A mother's sacrifice. Ya's journey of resilience and triumph. Obaya sat quietly in front of her hut, resting her chin in her palms as she watched her two children gulp down the porridge she had managed to prepare. They drank it as if they hadn't eaten for days. Feeding her family was a daily struggle, and affording even the basics was difficult. Her husband, Menu, had gone out in search of work, hoping to earn some money, but there was no guarantee he would return with anything. Ya's stomach rumbled loudly. She was starving, having not eaten since morning. She had spent the day at the market selling sachet water and had used her earnings to buy corn dough for porridge, saving the rest to ensure her children, Atapenyin, the eldest boy, and Atakakwa, the youngest girl, had something to eat. She had to think ahead because if Menu returned empty-handed, at least her children would not go to bed hungry. They drank all the porridge, leaving none for her and her husband. Ya sighed, drank some water to suppress her hunger, and prepared for bed, waiting for Menu's return. Later that night, he stumbled in heavily drunk, as usual, and collapsed onto the mat on the floor. Same as always, Ya whispered to herself. Menu had gone out to look for work, but had returned drunk, having wasted any money he had managed to get. She knew she could not continue relying on him. Penyin and Kakra were growing up, and she wanted them to have an education. They attended one of the most prestigious government schools in the village and performed excellently in their studies. I have to do something for my children's future, Ya resolved in her heart. The next morning, she woke up early and prepared her children for school. Determined to improve their lives, she went to see Auntie Fatty, the porridge seller, and offered to assist her in exchange for a small fee. Auntie Fatty agreed, appreciating Ya's hard-working nature. Next, she visited Auntie Na, who sold kenke in the afternoon, and offered to help her as well. Auntie Na, too, accepted her offer. Her final stop was Openyin Kojo, an old man who had been a close friend of her father. He was seated in his wooden chair when she arrived. Respectfully, she bowed and greeted him. "Yeah, baby," he called affectionately. "How have you been? It's been a while. What brings you here?" "Openyin Kojo, I need your help," she said, tears streaming down her cheeks. "You've been my only support ever since I lost my family to the flood years ago. Life has been unbearable, and feeding my children is becoming impossible. Please, I'm begging you, give me a small portion of your land to farm. I will pay you with a share of the harvest." The old man was deeply moved. He had known Ya since she was a baby. Her parents had been wealthy farmers in the village, but a storm had tragically claimed their lives, leaving Ya as the sole survivor. He had taken her in and cared for her, but she had fallen for Menu at a young age. Despite his warnings, she had chosen to be with Menu, and when she became pregnant, his wife had chased her out, believing her presence would negatively influence their children. His wife was away at the farm with their children, so after a moment of thought, he finally said, "I have a plot of land behind the palm tree plantation. I will give it to you for free, in memory of your father who once helped me settle here when I had nothing. But promise me, do not tell anyone, especially your husband. If my wife and children find out, they will take it away from you." Ya knelt and thanked him profusely. Before they left, he handed her some money for her children. When they arrived at the land, she saw that it was a vast portion already growing cassava. Filled with gratitude, Ya decided to go to the market to buy foodstuffs and prepare fufu with palm soup for her children. On her way, she passed by the popular Fie Iziban Choba. She heard a loud, familiar voice and, out of curiosity, got closer, only to be shocked by what she saw. There, seated with a woman and two of his friends, was her husband, Menu. He was feasting on a large bowl of fufu with assorted meat and fish with groundnut soup, laughing and drinking palm wine as if he had no worries in the world. Ya's heart shattered. She had often heard rumors about Menu spending money recklessly at drinking spots, but he had always denied them. Now she saw the truth with her own eyes. How could a man neglect his wife and children, yet find the means to indulge himself? She clenched her fists, swallowed her pain, and walked away. At the market, she met one of Menu's friends who, unaware of what she had seen, kindly gifted her some mushrooms and snails from his farm. She used them to prepare a delicious meal for her children. When Penny and Kaka returned home, they were overjoyed and ate to their satisfaction. Surprisingly, Menu arrived home early that evening, pretending he hadn't eaten all day. He must have heard from his friend that Ya had received mushrooms and snails. Ya silently served him, watching as he ate greedily, draining all the soup and even asking for more. She said nothing, but made up her mind. She would work hard to provide for her children, with or without his help. The next morning, she continued working for Auntie Fatty and Auntie Na. With her earnings, she bought small items for resale at the market and saved the rest. In the afternoons, she tended to her land, clearing weeds and planting more crops. She harvested cassava and sold it in the market, gradually increasing her earnings. Day after day, she toiled tirelessly, saving every coin. Eventually, she had enough money to rent a proper space in the market. Her determination paid off. She was able to provide for her children's education. Penny and Kakwa worked hard, winning school competitions and earning scholarships for high school. The entire village admired Ya's resilience. One day, Opening Kojo met her in the market and said, "Ya, indeed, hard work pays. You chose to stand for your children, and now they are making you proud." Years later, Penny became a successful doctor, while Kakwa became a teacher and later a lecturer. They built a magnificent house for their parents in the village because Ya refused to move to the city with them. She preferred to stay in the village. Sadly, her years of constant starvation and hard labor had taken a toll on her health. She was placed on medication and advised to avoid certain foods. Kakra was heartbroken. Just when their mother was supposed to enjoy the fruits of her labor, she couldn't fully do so. Before she passed away, Ya looked at her children and grandchildren smiling. She had broken the cycle of poverty and given her family a future. If she had waited for her husband to take responsibility, their lives would have been different. Her determination had changed everything. She passed away peacefully, surrounded by her loved ones. Her children and grandchildren mourned deeply, knowing they had lost the strongest pillar of their lives. Even Menu, filled with regret, finally admitted he had been blessed with an extraordinary woman. The entire village came to pay their last respects. Ya's story became an inspiration, a testament to the power of a mother's love, sacrifice, and unwavering determination. The end.